Well, hi there, everyone. Well, this is it, the start of your Lean Six Sigma journey. Here in this lecture, we will seek to gain a clear understanding of the continuous improvement strategy, Six Sigma. We will talk about some of the early days of Six Sigma and the foundation the strategy was built on. Well, let's get started here by first defining what is Six Sigma. Well, this very important question will be very important to your journey, and we are just getting started. Let's take a second to pause the video, set a timer for 5 minutes, and write down everything that you know about Six Sigma. There should be a form for you to jot your answers down on in the attachments section. Go ahead and pause for 5 minutes. When we come back, we will jump right in. Well, welcome back. Let's get started with this introduction to Six Sigma. You will learn more about history of Six Sigma in later modules, but the strategy was developed in the mid-1980s by an engineer named Bill Smith. At the time, he was working for Motorola and was able to document quite a bit of savings with his focus on improving quality. Since that time, other notable organizations such as Lockheed Martin, General Electric, and countless other companies have used Six Sigma with great success. First, we should clarify that like every other continuous improvement strategy is focused on meeting the needs and wants of both internal and external customers. Six Sigma does this by focusing on business processes and creating a team-centered environment. Through measurements and focused analyzation of processes can be improved and then controlled to sustain the results of various initiatives. One of the key focuses of Six Sigma is on producing quality in processes and reducing variation. Now, there is a very heavy focus on quantifying results and measurements, and that focus works very well. Along with quantifiable data and measurements, Six Sigma takes a very team-centered approach to improvements, which in turn requires buy-in from all individuals in an organization. Everyone must support the strategy's direction from the top all the way down the pyramid and back up again. One of the ways that Six Sigma accomplishes this team-centered approach is by borrowing from the martial arts belt system. You see, individuals are set into various belt levels based on their skill, experience, and expected contribution to the strategy. The Master Black Belt is the highest level a Six Sigma practitioner can accomplish. Along with various belt systems, Six Sigma designates champions in an organization. These champions are typically skilled in the art of management in order to help steer and move the strategy forward. So what does the term Six Sigma mean? The term Six Sigma is a statistical reference telling us quantifiably how that process is performing. In the case of Six Sigma rating, that means the process must produce no more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. In essence, it is talking about the level of deviation from a standard, average, or targeted measure. There are various levels of Sigma rating, but the Six Sigma rating was made popular by Motorola's goal of producing no more than 3.4 defects per million opportunities. As you may have guessed, this type of goal requires focus on improving processes within a business. One interesting thing to note is that a process may vary anywhere from 1 to 1.5 sigmas at a time. We will talk more about this in later modules and how this deviation affects the Six Sigma rating. Almost every statistical analysis in Six Sigma is based off of a breakthrough equation that is often referred to as the breakthrough formula. That formula is y equals f times x, or more accurately, y equals fx plus epsilon in order to account for variation. The y is representative of the desired outcome of a customer and what they are seeking. The x represents the inputs of a process, and the f represents various elements that may be applied to that process in order to control and improve outputs. Epsilon, as noted earlier, accounts for some level of error or variance in the process. Let's use this formula in comparison of an activity that we can relate to a little better, like baking bread. The y represents the warm, fluffy bread we desire. The x are the ingredients that we put into our bread, and the f is the process we apply to it, like mixing, rising, cooking, and cooling. Of course, if we made 15 loaves of bread, it may turn out differently each time. For example, the temperature may change, the consistency might alter, and certainly it may taste a bit different each time. Those changes are representative of variation, and that is what we use epsilon to account for. What this formula essentially tells us is that by the result of every outcome of just about everything is directly related to the inputs of the processes being applied to the objective. This concept is actually quite similar to a cause and effect type approach. It tells us that inputs help to form our outputs. This cause and effect philosophy shows us that if we can analyze a process's variation based on the inputs, it will certainly have a profound effect on our outcome or progress towards a defined goal or objective. Essentially, when we hear the strategy Six Sigma, we are focused on reducing defects and process variation through measurement and data-driven decisions. Now, in this lecture, there were a few key terms used to help us with our introduction to Six Sigma. So before you move on to the next lecture, take a bit of time to clarify what errors and functions are within a Six Sigma strategy. Keep in mind, as you study Six Sigma, that variation refers to the difference from a target, defined objective, and/or a goal. Along with variation, a very similar term is variance, which defined means inconsistent or differences from a mean or an average. Another very important term to understand is standard deviation, and although we will dive deep into what that means exactly, standard deviation is that pretty little Greek symbol you often see combined with the number 6. Before we go, we would like to recommend a very quick read that will help further your learning experience. The book was written by Peter Ponde, and it outlines Six Sigma in a very basic approach. The book's title is What is Six Sigma? Grab a copy of this book, sit down by the fireplace, and enjoy it. It's a fantastic quick read into basic concepts of Six Sigma. When you finish, visit the comments or question and answer tab and write the community a quick paragraph describing some important concepts you learned. Remember, sharing knowledge is not only powerful to others, but helps us retain knowledge ourselves. Well, that wraps up this introduction to Six Sigma. So don't forget, reduced variation and improved quality. Until next time, keep on improving, and we will keep on giving you solutions that ignite your power.